So, this is my review on the open beta for Overwatch. And this is just my opinion. To get into this, first what I expected. As a TF2 player, I have over 6,000 hours, so I've definitely heard of Overwatch. I've seen a lot of pro TF2 players play it, and what I saw from that is that it seemed kind of difficult to learn. Like, 21 classes seems like a lot, especially when you play TF2 that only has 9. And also it seems that the game relies a lot on abilities and ults. My first impressions of the game was that it was actually very easy to learn the game. The classes and maps were really easy to learn. It was a really easy game to get into. A lot of the classes, though, seemed like easier versions of TF2 classes, which I'll talk more about that later. But the motto of Overwatch seemed to be, if everyone is OP, then nobody's OP. And I don't really like that motto. So first, the pros. It's a really easy game to learn. It's really easy to learn the maps. I really like that it's really fun and different. It's a very enjoyable game. And I also really like the art of the game. Blizzard's support of the game is really insane, and it makes you want to like the game, it really does. I was also pleasantly surprised by the engine. I didn't think I'd like the engine at all. It just didn't look that smooth when I saw people playing it, but it actually felt pretty good. I mean, there's still some weird, like, I guess it's more like mechanics to the game. The best example I can think of is like Widowmaker's grapple. You're looking at something completely different, and you press shift and it goes like 20 feet to the left. It's really weird, and I don't like stuff like that. It chooses for you kind of type thing, and it's really annoying because a lot of things in the game do that. Lastly, which is something that I think a lot of people really like about the game, is that you always feel like you're doing well because of ults and abilities. You know, it always feels like you can come back and win because of ults and abilities. It makes the game move pretty fast. There really aren't that many like complete rolls. You can, for the most part, always feel like you're doing well because all you really need is ults and abilities to do something really significant in this game. So now onto the cons. The first thing I want to talk about are ults. I dislike ults in general. I don't like the idea. But the main thing that I dislike about them is that they're so easy to get for such a huge reward. You can literally AFK and charge your ult. But then, you know, you can kill, I mean, 3 people is probably like the average kill for an ult, that I see at least. It's pretty difficult not to kill someone. Like, you really have to try to not kill someone with an ult. And it's really easy to use. That's the point of it. It's really easy to get, really easy to use, but it can completely change the game. And there's also no penalty. For example, if you die, you don't lose any percentage of your ult. You still have 100%. There's just no penalty to it. There's nothing you can do about ults. Next, we'll talk about how the classes in this game are just easier versions of TF2 classes. Not all of them, but most of them. So an example could be Pharah. I mean, rocket jumping is a very, very important thing in TF2. It's very skillful. There's maps specifically for it. It's definitely a skill-based thing, but in this, you just straight up press shift, you know? Anybody can do it. And another thing, snipers. All the snipers all have wall hacks. An insane class to put wall hacks on. I'm not sure why that happened, but wall hacks, again, making the game easier. Mei is probably the best example I can think of, because Pyro's already, sorry TF2 players, but Pyro's already the easiest class in the game, in TF2. And the biggest complaint about that class is Air Blast, because you can't do much about it. You can try to strafe out of it, and you can shoot them. It probably won't work well if you have a projectile weapon, but in most cases you can try something. Whereas in Overwatch, Mei freezes you, and you can't even look in a different direction. You can't shoot, you can't move. I don't think you can even look in a different direction. So, it's just very helpless. The medic classes in general are definitely easier than medic in TF2. So next is free kills and second chances. I really dislike this concept. A good example of these would be probably McCree for both. McCree, you just press E, use your flashbang, you get a free kill. It's almost impossible not to get a free kill with this. And even if you miss your first fan, you can just press shift, which is his second chance, and you can just unload another clip. And there are a lot of classes like this. You know, snipers get wall hacks, all they have to do is press shift. Well, I guess that's only with the huntsman, but also, again, that's another good example. The huntsman in general, just the weapon, is easier to use than TF2 weapons. And the movement in this game isn't nearly as good as TF2, or important or useful as TF2, so it's just easier to hit people in general. Some more second chances examples are like Reaper and his invulnerable ability. His isn't too bad, but also Tracer with her rewind and health regen, Mei with her ice block. There are a lot of classes with just second chances and free kills, and it just seems to allow you to make mistakes in this game.
Raising the volume.
I just don't think the game is very good as an FPS game. I don't think it takes much aim at all. DM and aim don't really matter in this game. It's definitely more about the ults and abilities. It just, in a lot of cases, it just seems like they tried to make the game, aiming at least in the game, as easy as they possibly could. Winston is probably a great example of this. Like, you press shift and you get in somebody's face. It's almost impossible to miss right there.
Yep,
but
back.
It gives you aimbot anyway. The electricity is aimbot, you know, and they have actual aimbots in the game, actual wall hacks. It just seems like they took a lot of skill out of this game that they could have had. The last con I'm going to talk about is the player outline. I just don't really know why it's there. I'm not sure. Maybe there is a reason for it to be there that I don't know about. But whenever a player's on your screen, they're outlined in red. And I remember a play of the game I was watching, and there was this sniper in like the bottom, I'm not even sure if it was a sniper, but there was a player in the bottom left corner, and they were outlined in red, and they were really easy to see because of that. But I think if they weren't outlined, you probably wouldn't have seen that person, and this person wouldn't have gotten a kill. I'm not really sure why they outline everyone in red, like just to make it easier, or if it's maybe to make skins, you know, not affect the game, or what. So overall, I like the game. It's really enjoyable. I did already pre-order it. It's really popular. I have a lot of friends that want to play it. And it's fun. I just don't really see it as a game that I would be interested in competitively, because it just doesn't take as much skill as I'd want it to. But I'm still going to follow the game. You know, any game that is marketed as an FPS, most people consider this like a first-person MOBA, but any game that's marketed as an FPS, I'm definitely interested in. I definitely want it to be successful. But for me, it just doesn't seem like a competitive game. But I'm still going to enjoy it, and I'm sure I'll be uploading Overwatch content. Thanks for watching, and let me know your opinions on Overwatch and how you enjoyed the beta.
I've got you in my sights.
Dropping mine.
You having trouble keeping up?
My ultimate is ready. My ultimate is ready.
You feel that?
Let's do this.